I used to believe that once I became successful, everything would just click, that there was this invisible finish line somewhere out there. And once I crossed it, life would finally feel right. Like I'd wake up one day, look around and think, yeah, this is it. I made it. No more overthinking, no more stress, no more feeling like I'm behind, just peace. And I think a lot of us believe that. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when I make more money. I'll be happy when I get in shape. I'll be happy when I find the right person. I'll be happy when I finally figure my life out. And on the surface, it sounds reasonable because those things do improve your life. But here's the problem no one really talks about. That feeling never actually goes away. It just moves. When I was younger, success meant something simple. It meant getting good grades. Then it meant getting into a good university. Then it meant landing a decent job. And every time I reached one of those goals, there was this brief moment of satisfaction, like a small hit of relief. But it didn't last because almost immediately my brain would go, okay, what's next? There was always another level, another standard, another version of myself that I wasn't yet. And instead of feeling fulfilled, I just felt like I was constantly chasing something slightly out of reach. And that's the trap. Success isn't a destination, it's a moving target. The moment you get what you once wanted, your expectations shift. What used to feel like a dream becomes normal. And what used to be enough suddenly isn't anymore. You see this everywhere. People who make 6 figures start aiming for 7. People who get in great shape start obsessing over small imperfections. People who find a relationship start worrying about whether it's the right one. It's like no matter how far you go, your mind keeps raising the bar. And if your happiness is tied to reaching that bar, you're setting yourself up to feel like you're always behind. There's actually a psychological concept for this. It's called hedonic adaptation. And it basically means that humans are incredibly good at getting used to things, good or bad. You can get a promotion, buy your dream car, move into a better place. And after a while, it just becomes your new normal. And then you're back to chasing the next thing. And I think this is where a lot of people start to feel confused because from the outside, their life looks good, maybe even great. They're doing all the things they thought would make them happy. But internally, something still feels off. There's this quiet feeling of, is this it? And it's not because they're ungrateful. It's not because they're doing something wrong. It's because they were sold an idea that was never fully true. The idea that success equals happiness. When in reality, success just changes your circumstances. It doesn't automatically change how you feel. And I learned this the hard way. Because there were moments in my life where I got the thing I had been working towards, and instead of feeling complete, I just felt normal or sometimes even empty. Like I had climbed this hill expecting a view, and when I got to the top, there was just another hill. So if success won't make you happy, then what will? That's the question I started asking myself. And the answer isn't as simple as don't chase success, because ambition isn't the problem. Wanting to improve your life isn't the problem. The problem is where you think your happiness is coming from. Because if you believe that happiness is waiting for you in the future, you'll keep sacrificing the present to try and get there. You'll delay enjoying your life. You'll tell yourself, I'll relax later. I'll enjoy things later, I'll be happy later, and later just keeps getting pushed further and further away. So maybe the goal isn't to stop pursuing success. Maybe the goal is to stop expecting it to fix everything. Because the truth is, some of the most successful people in the world are still anxious, still unfulfilled, still searching. And at the same time, some people with very little feel completely at peace. So clearly there's something else going on. So if success doesn't actually deliver the happiness we expect, why do we believe it will? Why do we keep chasing it like it's the answer to everything? A big part of it comes down to something called the arrival fallacy, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's the belief that once you arrive at a certain point in your life, you'll finally feel complete, that there's some future version of your life where everything just settles into place. No more confusion, no more insecurity, no more questioning yourself, just clarity and peace. But that version of life doesn't exist. Because the moment you arrive somewhere, your brain immediately creates a new destination. It's like climbing a mountain thinking it's the peak, only to realize there's a higher one behind it. And then another and another. The problem isn't that you're ambitious. The problem is that you've attached your emotional well-being to reaching a place that keeps moving. And I think this gets even deeper when you start tying your identity to success. A lot of us don't just want to be successful. We want to be someone because of it. We want success to prove something to ourselves or to other people. Maybe it's, I want to prove that I'm not a failure. I want to prove that I'm capable. I want to prove that I'm better than who I used to be. I want people to finally respect me. So success stops being about growth and starts becoming about validation. And that's where it gets dangerous, because now every win feels like relief and every loss feels personal. If something goes well, you feel good about yourself. If something doesn't, you start questioning your worth. You're no longer just doing things. You're measuring yourself through them. And even when you do succeed, that feeling doesn't last, because deep down, it was never really about the goal. It was about how you see yourself. And external achievements can't permanently fix an internal perception. You can build a better life, but still feel like you're not enough. You can hit your goals and still feel behind. You can have everything you once wanted and still feel empty because you brought the same mindset with you. That's the part people don't expect. They think, once I get there, I'll become a different person, more confident, more secure, more at peace. But success doesn't automatically change who you are internally, it just amplifies it. If you're constantly anxious before success, you'll find new things to be anxious about after it. If you rely on achievement for self-worth, you'll need bigger and bigger wins just to feel okay. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in it. No matter how much you pour in, it never feels full for long. and I felt this myself. There were times where I hit milestones I used to care about, and instead of feeling proud, my first thought was, okay, but this isn't enough yet. Not because I wasn't grateful, but because I had trained my brain to always look at what's missing. And when you live like that, nothing ever feels like enough. You start to overlook your progress. You stop appreciating where you are, and life turns into this constant cycle of chase, achieve, feel nothing, then chase again. And on the outside, it can look like you're doing really well, but internally, you're just tired because you've turned your entire life into something that needs to be earned. So here's the shift that changed a lot for me. What if success isn't supposed to give you happiness, but simply enhance it? What if it's not the source, but just an addition? Because if you don't already have some level of peace, some level of contentment, some ability to enjoy your life as it is, then success won't suddenly create that for you. It'll just raise the stakes. You'll have more to manage, more to maintain, more to lose, and that pressure can actually make you feel worse. So instead of asking, how do I become successful so I can be happy? Maybe the better question is, how do I build a life that already feels meaningful? So success becomes a bonus instead of a requirement, because chasing success isn't the problem. Needing it to feel okay is. And once you start to separate those two things, everything changes. So if success isn't the thing that makes you happy, what is? Because I don't want this to come across as, don't chase goals, don't try to improve your life, just settle for whatever you have. That's not the point at all. Ambition is good, growth is good, wanting more for yourself is completely normal. But happiness doesn't come from finally arriving somewhere. It comes from how you live while you're on the way. And I think this is where most people get it backwards. They treat the present moment like a stepping stone, something to get through instead of something to actually experience. They rush through their days thinking about the future. They delay enjoyment, they postpone rest, they ignore the small things that make life feel real, all for a version of life that may or may not ever feel the way they expect it to. And the irony is, those small things, that's where most of your happiness actually comes from. Not the big milestones, not the huge achievements, but the everyday moments that you usually overlook. A conversation that makes you laugh, a quiet walk where your mind finally slows down, sitting in your room with nothing playing, just thinking, spending time with people who actually understand you. Those things don't look impressive. They don't get posted. They don't feel productive, but they're real, and they matter way more than we give them credit for. Because fulfillment isn't this constant high. It's not excitement 24/7. It's more subtle than that. It's feeling present in your own life. It's having moments where you're not trying to be somewhere else. It's being okay with where you are while still working toward more. And that balance is hard because we've been conditioned to always be chasing something, always improving, always optimizing, always thinking about what's next. And slowing down can feel uncomfortable. When you sit quietly, your mind gets louder. You start thinking about things you've been avoiding. You start noticing how you actually feel. And a lot of people don't like that. So they stay busy. They keep chasing. They keep distracting themselves with goals and progress and success because it feels better than sitting with uncertainty. But here's the thing. If you can't sit with yourself now, success won't fix that later. You'll just have more distractions, more noise, more ways to avoid what's actually going on internally. So part of building a life that feels good is learning how to be okay with stillness. Not all the time, but enough to actually hear your own thoughts. To understand what you want instead of just chasing what you think you should want. Because a lot of people are climbing ladders they didn't even choose. They're chasing careers they don't care about. Goals they inherited from social media. Lifestyles they saw someone else living. And then they wonder why it feels empty when they get there. It's because it was never their definition of success to begin with. So maybe the goal isn't just to be successful, but to define what success actually means to you. Not what looks good, not what sounds impressive, but what genuinely makes your life feel better. And for some people, that might be building a business. For others, it might be having more free time, more peace, more connection. There's no universal version of success, but there is a version that aligns with you. And once you start building toward that, the whole process feels different. You're not just chasing something distant, you're actually enjoying parts of your life right now. And that's the shift. Success shouldn't be the thing that finally allows you to live. It should be something that grows alongside a life you already value, because at the end of the day, you're going to spend most of your life in the process, not at the finish line. So if the process feels empty, no amount of success is going to make up for that. But if you can find ways to enjoy the process, to feel present, to build something that actually means something to you, then success becomes something different. It's not your source of happiness. It's just something that adds to it, and that's a much better place to be. So keep chasing your goals, keep improving, keep building the life you want. Just don't forget to live it while you're doing it, because the version of you that finally makes it is still going to be you. And if you don't learn how to be okay with that person now, no amount of success is going to change it later. So slow down a little, pay attention to your life as it is, and make sure you're not waiting for a future that was never meant to fix everything. I hope this gave you something to think about. If it did, let me know what part resonated with you the most, and I'll see you in the next one.